Welcome to Storytales, where timeless Bible stories come alive with real emotion and unforgettable lessons. These ancient truths aren't locked in the past, they shape our journeys today. No matter where you're watching from, you're part of a greater story, one where faith and kindness still matter. If you believe faith matters, subscribe now. The story you're about to hear is one you won't want to miss. From secret prayers to acts of courage before kings and flames, these stories are more than history, they're horror. Though bat stor deib or stir dirk in dain sidirib or purrier banamatsan. Let's begin.
My faith is my shield in this den of
In
lions.
ancient Babylon,
The
Daniel
Lord will
rose to
deliver me
influence
from
as a
their
wise
jaws.
and faithful man, but his integrity drew jealousy. The king's officials, threatened by Daniel, created a law forbidding prayer to anyone but the king. Daniel knew the risk, but still knelt by his window 3 times a day, praying to the God who never failed him. He could have hidden, but chose faith over fear. The punishment, a night in the lion's den. Imagine the heavy stone sealing him in, Daniel alone with the beasts. Sometimes our own fears feel just as real, prowling in the darkness. At dawn, the king called out, "Daniel, has your God saved you?" From the shadows came Daniel's calm reply, "My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths." Daniel walked out untouched, proof that faith can silence even the fiercest threats. What are your lions? Is it risking your job or the pressure to stay silent? Daniel's story is about choosing faith in the face of fear, trusting you're not alone in life's dance. His courage invites us to examine our own hearts. What would you risk to remain true to your beliefs? Soon after Daniel's trial, 3 young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, stood before a golden statue, refusing to bow. Their defiance was simple. "We serve a God greater than any statue. We will not bow." The king's rage was fierce, and the furnace was stoked 7 times hotter. Bound hand and foot, they were thrown into the flames, so hot it consumed even those who carried them. But as the king looked in, he saw 4 men walking in the fire, unbound, and the 4th looked like a son of the gods. In their darkest hour, God's presence was closer than ever, walking with them in the fire. The flames did not consume them, not a hair was singed. They emerged unharmed, living proof that faith can endure the hottest trials. Sometimes, it's in the fire that we discover we're not alone. What flames do you face? A health crisis, broken relationship, or battle with doubt? The fiery furnace reminds us, faith isn't forged in comfort, but proven in the fire. Sometimes the miracle isn't escape, it's presence. God doesn't always deliver us from the fire. Sometimes He meets us in it. Their story is an invitation to courage, to stand when others bow, to trust when the heat is on, and to know you are never alone in the flames. What fire are you facing today?
I must go before the king, though it is against thou.
In Persia's grand halls, Esther, a young Jewish woman, became queen, her identity hidden. Her people faced a decree of death, and her cousin Mordecai pleaded with her to risk everything. Entering the king's presence uninvited could mean death, even for the queen. Esther fasted, prayed, and gathered her courage. "If I perish, I perish." She stepped into the throne room, heart pounding. The king extended his scepter. Mercy. Esther exposed the plot against her people, risking powerful enemies' wrath. Her brave act saved not only herself, but her entire nation. Esther's story is about the power of a single courageous voice. Sometimes, the bravest thing is to speak up when silence is easier. Who needs your courage today? Esther reminds us, kindness fueled by courage can change destinies.
I have seen your kindness.
I only did what was right.
It will be rewarded.
In Bethlehem's fields, Ruth, a foreign widow, chose faithfulness over comfort, caring for her grieving mother-in-law Naomi. Her words echo, "Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people. Your God, my God." Life was hard. Ruth gleaned leftover grain, her hands rough and tired. Her quiet perseverance drew Boaz's attention, a man of integrity and compassion. He offered her protection and hope. Their story wasn't marked by grand miracles, but by steady kindness and faithfulness. Their union became the lineage of kings and the birthplace of hope for all nations. Ruth and Boaz remind us, redemption often begins in small, daily acts. Faithfulness in the small things matters. Even in the ordinary, the extraordinary can be born. Far from palaces, Job sat in the ashes of loss. Once prosperous, his world unraveled, wealth, health, even his children gone. Friends arrived with accusations, but Job's faith wasn't built on easy answers. In pain, he cried out, honestly, even angrily, but refused to curse God. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. Job's story is raw and real. It doesn't offer quick solutions, but it does offer hope. After the storm, God answered, not with explanations, but with presence. Job's ashes became the soil for new beginnings. Sometimes, worship is a whisper in the dark, a stubborn hope that refuses to die.
You sold me.
Before Daniel, Joseph dreamed of greatness, but his story began in betrayal. Sold into slavery by his brothers, Joseph's journey was marked by injustice and years in prison. Still, he held to his faith, serving faithfully wherever he was. Through divine turns, Joseph rose from prisoner to prince, entrusted with Egypt's future. Then his brothers appeared, desperate for food, unaware of his identity. Joseph could have chosen revenge, but instead chose forgiveness. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Chains of guilt fell away, and a broken family was made whole. Joseph's story is about the power of forgiveness, not because others deserve it, but because it sets us free. Who do you need to forgive? What betrayal do you carry? Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it transforms the future. In Jesus' parables, a younger son demands his inheritance and leaves home. He squanders everything, and at his lowest, feeds pigs, longing for scraps. Desperate, he decides to go home, rehearsing his apology. He expects rejection, but while he's still far off, his father sees him and runs. The father embraces his broken son, wrapping him in forgiveness before a word is spoken. A feast replaces shame. A ring and robe replace rags. The father's love is extravagant and restoring. This story isn't about the son's mistakes, but the father's heart. Wherever you are, you're never too far gone. The father is watching, waiting, and ready to run towards you. Grace is waiting.
My faith is my shield in this den of lions.
From lions'
Lord will
dens to
deliver me from their
furnaces to
jaws.
palace courts, faith was tested, but kindness won. These stories remind us that courage, compassion, and forgiveness are lifelines for today. Every act of quiet faith matters. You may be in a den, a fire, or facing a risky decision, but you are not alone. If this story strengthened your faith, subscribe to Story Tales. Before you leave, tell us in the comments, which story spoke to you tonight? Your faith story isn't finished yet.